the mob demonstrations
of a research grant. There are conditions of service compared to others, and maybe other allied institutions is not the best. But what do we do?
You have been former Labour Minister. What would you have done if you were in the seat now?
I would engage thoroughly with the University Council, and I would engage with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and the executives of UTAC. But sometimes it's not just a question of the engagement. I recall as Minister for Labour, one of the finest words of President John Dramani Mahama, as he then was, that I enjoyed from him when he was giving me instructions. There was this major labor dispute, I think, judicial workers,
judicial services workers.
Whilst he was en route, I believe, to the United Kingdom and Norway, he would say politely to me, Harun, hold the line. Keep strong and be firm. This is what the state can do. This is what the state cannot do. And I'm sure the Minister for Labour, current, may be doing his utmost best. His nemesis or problem will be at the Ministry of Finance. Niska. And we don't have money.
We are broke.
When you engage in that. So I trust that there would be, I predicted last year that we are likely to get a number of industrial disputes and conflict, given the fact that COVID itself have worsened our unemployment situation. Thankfully, within the public sector, there was no redundancies of persons losing jobs as a result of COVID, which is positive. But the negotiations of public sector wages of between 4 to 7% is problematic. And probably even today and tomorrow, something significant will happen in Ghana, because the workers will have to go and get their salary and then appreciate what it meant by a 4% adjustment, traveling towards a 7% adjustment. And the computation, I just hope that the Controlling Accountant General gets it right, so that it doesn't itself get persons worried to want to embark on strike actions which can affect productivity. My other worry within the labor front, and many of us are all guilty of it, too much productive hours is spent on the phone, surfing and WhatsApp and social media. It's affecting productivity. And we need to take a position on that. You just can't spend...
What do you propose?
You just can't spend that paid hours, man hours, on your phone. You have to be contributing to the development and growth of the economy, and more importantly, making a significant contribution to productivity. And I am concerned about the amount of time that public sector workers and arguably some numbers within the private sector spend on the mobile social media and the mobile phone.
Well, we're live on 3FM 92.7 as well, and tune in, and also on our TuneIn app and on your phone on 3news.com. The Honorable says, don't spend too much time on your phone, be productive. But I'm sure you've heard also that we've been downgraded to B- as a country. How did you receive that news?
I thought I also received news by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, waxing eloquence that the economy is robust and the economy is good. It means he's not even accepting the reality of a challenge. Truth is, Ghana's economy is tottering on the precipice of bankruptcy. When you have an economy where you have borrowed 450 billion to end the year, and your deficit is likely to be around 14% of GDP. You cannot describe that economy as a robust economy, particularly when you still have unaccounted arrears. some ministries, departments, and agencies have committed. It's just that government have not been able to pay them. We need to know outstanding arrears. How much is it? Now, when you have an economy where President Nana Addo Dankwa had the fortune, even though he does not even accept it, of an economy being downgraded by who?
Fitch.
Good.
Moody's.
2 years ago, with joy, grading from where? Fitch and
right.
Moody's.
Right.
Why is he not able to accept the simple truth today that the same persons who hailed you yesterday are dissatisfied with your performance?
Said they got it wrong.
In order that we can engage and have a national conversation on redeeming the economy, because it will affect the quality of life, it will affect employment, and it will affect lives. So I think that this posture of the president, that all is well when it is not well, that deception must cease. I mean, this arrogance of power must end somewhere. You have a country where I have a mandate. What mandate? Yes, you have a mandate to be president. Yes, you are. But to govern in accordance with law, to govern in tandem with established institutions, including parliament. It is not for nothing that the 1992 Constitution provides that the president shall, in consultation with parliament, in other places, prior approval of parliament, in other places, with the approval of parliament.
Right.
It simply says you can't take that decision solo as an individual president. So you must recognize that the very constitution, which is the group norm of our country, imposes some legal obligations with you to work with state institutions.
You don't see that happening?
I'm not satisfied with the level of engagement. It could be better.
What is missing?
So
what is missing in the link?
When you see Moody's and Fitch, want to know, in September last year, we're told that Ghana's debt in their numbers was around 341 billion.
That's right.
Which was 77.1% of GDP, as they reported. By November, it had increased to, as I said, over 437 billion.
So 80
yet,
something.
Yet, as at January 2017, what President Nana Addo Dankwa described as a colossal amount of debt was 120 billion. So, in excess, you have borrowed 300 billion within the last 5 years. For what purpose? To what end? To what infrastructure? To what improvement in the quality of life of the Ghanaian? We have every legitimate right to ask questions. Free
SHS, one district, one factory, one village, one dam, planting for food and jobs, interchanges. The government will rattle these and throw it at you.
Ghanaians, we shouldn't even lose our sense of humor. When the Honorable Isaac Adongo says that don't borrow for kenke and fish, humorously, he's simply saying that avoid borrowing only for purpose of consumption. Borrow to invest in infrastructure, to grow the economy in order to propel economic development. I mean, when you have annual budget funding amount of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, Act 815, provides that a certain amount is dedicated for infrastructure.
That's right.
From 2017 till yesterday, a significant part of ABFA is spent on free senior high school. Noble objective, great social intervention. Numbers have increased from 300,000, 400,000 to 1 million students. But are you investing in human capital or you are investing in literacy and numeracy? Because 50% of those who get to free senior high school don't climb up to the tertiary ladder. So they remain at that level. I wouldn't describe that category of failed student as human quality. What are they going to compete with in the world? 2, what is the justification that I, Haruna Iddrisu, Member of Parliament, MP, Tamale Saf, I earn some reasonable income? You say that I shouldn't pay fees And my watchman too shouldn't pay fees. You have enriched me better than the watchman because I'll save that money. So a necessary need test was compelling. These are matters we discussed at
the finance minister said it. It was thrown away.
No, he didn't say it. He is the one implementing it, and he's spending money on NBFA.
He started earlier. He said, let's zone it out.
No. You see, political convenience is not the same thing as what is right for the people of Ghana. I mean, in engaging in this, you haven't even raised the other question. Where in the world is it that everybody who gets a grade must pass? Cut-off point. Where is the cut-off point? From JSS. You just didn't admit any person into senior high school. So the fact that it's free doesn't mean that you are just keeping your metro mass transport door open for any person to sit in within the aggregate. It does not respect quality standards within a competitive educational system. 10 years down the line, we would appreciate what harm we are doing to the development of Ghana's human capital under this popular policy. Nobody is saying, I'm sure the next advert you see is that Haruna benefited from free senior high school from the north, an affirmative action of a sort that happened. So you must appreciate all those things, but you are spending too much money on consumption, which is not justified. That's what the Honorable Adongo called the king fish and people analysis. Should appreciate where he's coming from.
Have you bought fuel today?
Have I?
Bought fuel today, petrol?
Oh, not yet.
But have you seen the prices at the pumps?
I'm closer to TV3 and my friends.
But have you seen the prices at the pumps? Have you seen them going up and down?
If you share with me, I'll be happy.
Well, Total is 7050. Goel is doing around 6.9. Shell is doing just about 6.8 or so. So they're literally, somebody says they have broken the 7.
So to Nana Akufo-Addo and to the MPP, have they ended the suffering of the Ghanaian people that they played?
You say you are in a better place.
Does this reduce the suffering? They have exacerbated poverty. They've exacerbated hardships. They've contributed to a reduction in the quality of life. I trust that you've monitored the Ghana Statistical Service final outcome of a population census. I'm right to say that there is an increase in the unemployment. Service have turned out. That must also be worrying. Now,
is that not why the government says pass the e-levy, let me get money and employ some more young people? You say no.
E-levy, more complex and complicated than I even appreciated a few months ago. I mean, thanks to the brilliant article of Bryce Simon. Haruna, hold your horse. I'm sure I can borrow his horse to tell government that hold your horse, hold your horses on e-levy.
All right.
I am not too sure. And I've listened to the Minister of Finance at his last press briefing on e-levy, and it's an undeniable fact that he traded half-truths when he says that he has engaged the minority. From the day Parliament went on recess up till yesterday, I have not been engaged, nor consulted, nor even my team engaged by any person from Parliament, outside Parliament, or in the executive to discuss matters relating to e-levy and how to salvage the economy.
That's strange, because we thought that you were going to use the holidays to come to the table. And
I'm saying that I spend my holidays in Tamale, I didn't spend it engaging or negotiating on any levy, because nobody engaged me on any levy. In any case, I don't work alone as Haruna Iddrisu. We constituted a team of the Honorable Kofi Ato, the Honorable Asedin Ketia, the Honorable Atuforsen, the Honorable Jinapo, my able with the Honorable Muntaka and Honorable Aveji, and sometimes we draw from expertise and others to engage with government. Since negotiations broke down on many of the issues that we argued on, we got some positive, or call them decisions from government on e-levy, the most contentious issue. We could not agree to agree.
What happened during the vote?
What happened during the vote, an aberration. The Ghanaian people are unhappy about it. They think that Parliament should live above that.
Okay.
We will endeavor to do that. And today, as Parliament reconvenes, we will work to ensure that there is sanity and there is decency and there is decorum in the conduct of business. Parliament remains a forum where right and wrong is debated. And right must prevail, not partisanship. When we debate the right and wrongs, let right prevail. The Ghanaian people have expressed a disquiet or dissatisfaction on the initiative called e-levy. How I wish when the Minister of Finance said that he has consulted Ghanaian people and they have no problem with e-levy, to paraphrase his words, and that accountability. How I wish he subjected e-levy to a referendum. Then the Ghanaian people will vote and will know where they stand and will be guided. Because as a political opposition, we reflect the legitimate concerns of the Ghanaian people. And I'm saying e-levy is complex. It is not even just a momo tax. E-levy is a money tax. Nowhere in the world has this been experimented. This is the first time in the world that any country is seeking to impose a levy. You cannot even explain whether it's on capital gains, whether it's on investment income, or it's on income. Nebulous. When you say you are imposing a levy, on what? On a customer. Because I have money and I put money in my wallet. I have this with a mobile entity. You want to tax that. That's what they are seeking to do. And worst of all, at 1.75%, which is created jobs of over 441,000 by Bank of Ghana data on agents involved in it. Now, I'm not even sure that Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and President Nana Addo Dankwa appreciates and conceptualize the levy well. There are major stakeholders. You have the agents, you have the merchants, you have the fintech institutions. They have not been thoroughly consulted as stakeholders. So imagine, and the Ghanaian people must appreciate what the NDC minority did in Parliament. Government was seeking to suspend the standing orders. Read Article 106 of the Constitution very well and tie it with Article 108 and 109. It is not for nothing that the Constitution says that before a bill is introduced in Parliament, gazette it. The essence of a gazette,
days.
The essence of a gazette is to allow for the public to input into lawmaking. So it is not an exclusive right of Parliament or MPs. No, the public. That's why you submit what you call memoranda.
I see.
No, I'm still there. Let me end it well. You must get it right. So when you come to suspend the standing orders, it means you are disallowing the public, stakeholders, and other interests. It's like coming to pass a banking act without consulting the banks. Where does that happen? Where there is respect for values for good governance. So we said procedurally, what are you seeking to do? So what the NDC MPs did, I've seen people write articles as if it was only NDC MPs who were engaged in the brawl. That is inaccurate. There was a brawl affecting both sides of the house, both NDC and MPP. Not a decent reflection of what we are and what we should be doing as members of Parliament. But our members were compelled to preserve the sanctity of our standing orders, which guides our business, and to preserve the values, the letter and spirit of the 1992 Constitution. It is tried knowledge that where you have a hung parliament or a balanced parliament, it simply means there's no absolute majority. So President Nana Akufo-Addo,
the majority disagrees with this.
You can disagree. If you allow me a second. There is no comfortable or absolute majority. 137, 137. If your arithmetic is right, it's a balanced number of 137.
But MT Formina says he will do business with the MPP.
Doing business in civilized jurisdictions where you have learned your democracy from. How long is your democracy? 1993, and you think you are better than United Kingdom and the United States. In the United Kingdom, the speaker has no vote, the deputy speaker has no vote, and their votes are discounted. So if you seek to introduce new things that are repugnant and preposterous to our standing orders, we will resist it, and that is what we resist.
I see. Because you spoke about the public inclusion, let's listen to the voices on the streets on the e-levy quickly, and we'll come back into the studio to understand what the expectations will be in Parliament as say reconvened. You're reminded that you're live also on 3FM 92.7. The Honorable Haruna Iddrisu, Minority Leader in Parliament, is my guest.
Bang for it, media no crown or say, because Tia Timmy no me, my job, I'm cancel because Bang and Ankasa cry G Dada. It's a Muji Bang and Dada, Nebu or Mudia to Hona, Nipani Pentem no Apoya, no Musa Tibia, say no so and the Boa Mino.
It's a good policy, but I think they have to reduce it instead of is it 1.57? Yeah, if they can reduce that one, will be okay. It's a good policy that will help everybody to be part of the tax collection.
As a government, no we are mobile. As I said, Ghana yedin, no credit yamianim, and you see a tiny a penasem. No, it's an I into the sale tax in the beto, and also ever higher. I did also anyhow. So I see a todd the impo, and now you are Juma, and now you are Jumampo, and I say tax no every bar. I can get problem. So say no, I did 20 hop. Kajuma shouldn't hop. Tax way, and no more dear. Parliament for more into so on the Bay Juma.
You see, already people are paying tax, and then now the government want to take tax again on the how do you call it, on this e-levy, and I don't think it's right. It's a cheating. Yeah, so I think what the government should do, rather should find elsewhere to find money, but not on this very e-levy. So the e-levy should not be approved.
As a citizen of Ghana, to me, you live in the men call Majan said, I'm a patch as I'm saying, so my way, I want to say, Sikania, Entina, I will pass on what to say, you'll be Banana Babuama or Mani and what no be any Sikana, and I know have last out. My fat $25 million US, and Aqua Sabo Fu, they say. A good father, I feel Adichiano was about to Pia Otum, about to Pia Otum 30%. Now we have Sabakachi say, Sikani ho enti would be by fan yilabi me yilabin dia menyim tum sa parliament no wa moji tum dia dia and am say demonstration can see about so Ghana here nyina dia.
Those are voices on the street. So, leader, we have done a survey out there, interviewed people, but the majority leader, for example, insists that it's been passed already. So you're going on and on about nothing.
About what?
The e-levy has been passed already.
E-levy has been passed?
Yes, he said it's been passed. Now they're just looking for the legislation.
Says who?
The majority leader, your co-leader in Parliament, your opposite number in Parliament.
As far as I know, it has not been legally passed as is required of any bill on taxation.
Explain.
Pursuant to Article 174 of the 1992 Constitution and Article 106 in particular, and Article 108 to guide. To impose a tax, you necessarily must introduce a bill. So let's see whether a bill will be introduced or not. If it has been passed, then why are you all saying that Parliament comes back to the e-levy? If it has been passed, and he says technically. You see, this kind of deceptive maneuvering must stop. You cannot impose a tax without the authority of Parliament. Parliament has not given its authority to a bill which will end up in an act assented to by the president to become law for the imposition of it. You remember when I reminded them about road tolls?
Right.
I mean, you just not acting. So in Ghana, is there a rule of law? You haven't even amended the Road Toll Act. You have said that toll should stop. The road toll, if it gave you 78 million, you could as well make a 156 million if you double it. Now, vehicles just plying in, driving to Burkina Faso and other landlocked and other countries, they pay nothing, but yet they contribute to the deterioration of our road. That is what that money was supposed to do. I don't know of any country where public-private partnership within the road sector, particularly for purposes of dualization, has not used the vehicle of tolls. I mean, if you've been to the U.S. and you are driving through New York and Washington, you know the number of tolls you come to, how much you pay. Right. They make a dedicated amount of it, and they use it very well. So, for the majority leader to say that e-levy have been passed, I'm sure in context, he was saying that the policy principle of the budget have been passed. Policy principle is not a bill. Policy principle is not law, and policy principle, even in the course of the debate, the minority means no words in sharing with him the people of Ghana and the public that were opposed to e-levy.
What will make you change your mind?
Not this kind of attitude will make me change my mind. When you say it's been passed, and I will go and prove that it's not been passed, and I'll prove it on the floor of Parliament. When you are coming to even introduce a bill, I'll question you because you say it's been passed. So why are you introducing a bill when the Minister of Finance, just 2 days before, tells the Ghanaian people that I'm coming back to Parliament with a new bill on e-levy? So the contradiction, don't take it from Haruna, contradict him with Ken Ofori-Atta, and you know whether e-levy have been passed or not. Play the words of Ken Ofori-Atta against his words. And I don't think that there is an act called the e-transfer or e-transaction or e-something levy. I'm not aware that the obligations constitutionally expected of the president and expected of Parliament in discharging our legitimate duties with the Article 93 giving us the power to legislate, have so been exercised. As I said, reference to Article 174. That's why every student of political science or economics learned that there can be no representation without taxation, and those matters relating to it. So he can say that. And I've also heard another comment.
So let's play the first deputy speaker's thoughts, and then we will get into that conversation as well, because we need to iron out all the issues regarding the e-levy.
Deal with the challenge of taking advantage of the one majority we have, knowing that we may never be able to rely on the speaker in these circumstances. There are 137 of us plus one who may be presiding. In that circumstance, how do we go about reaping the one advantage we have as a caucus? That, in my view, should be the focus. We are a party in government. In the chamber, we are called the majority. But it does appear that any time we have to take a decision, we either need the speaker in the chair or all of us must vote.
The Honourable Joe Sewusu is the MP for Bekwai, is a member of Parliament on the ticket of the NPP. What are your thoughts about this?
Very disappointing and heartbreaking. He simply, without saying it, is saying that ignore the minority and ignore the speaker. You simply can't govern that way. In a parliament where you have 137, even plus one. Now, I will demonstrate this on the floor of Parliament this week. I'll force them to a vote and force them to bring in their numbers. So what the Honourable Joe Wise, First Deputy Speaker, have done is to say that on every matter, we will count on our 137 plus one.
All right.
We don't need consultation. We don't need consensus. we have accepted the challenge and we'll live up to the challenge. That will be my response.
They say you're making the work difficult. You're making the work of government difficult.
Accepted the
you're
challenge.
putting spokes in their wheel.
Which spokes? There's been matters which has been approved on the floor of Parliament, including loans, by consensus, when they didn't have the numbers, when they didn't have 137. So you see, this attitude of an irrelevant minority could only be comforting in the 7th and probably C4 or 5th Parliament, not the 8th Parliament. This is not workable. This will not work for them. And I say we will live up to the challenge. What he ought to be addressing is whether or not, even when he read Article 104 of the 1992 Constitution very well, read Article 102 very well, whether a speaker has original vote and a custom vote.
He said he will vote.
And I said, in the United Kingdom, now go and listen to where he said he will vote and play him just a minute before I will vote. When they were doing the voice vote, did you hear him shout? Go back. He didn't vote. Then now I'll vote by substitution. I'll vote, and then second deputy will come. Read Article 97 well of the Constitution again. Now, the second deputy speaker is only doing business with them. He's not part of them. Other than that, if he wants to be MPP, he must resign his office. They have an election, and he walks in as an MPP. But this was somebody they declared that they would never work with him. President Akufo-Addo said so when he was in Formina. So I'm surprised that he has, with some magnanimity and respect, even engaged them. But don't come with the posture as if this is a parliament where you had 106 and
169.
No, this is not. So the Honorable First Deputy comment reflects a parliament which has gone to sleep. A parliament which does not exist. Not this parliament. You have ministers. Some will be in their offices. Some will travel to conferences. Some may be abroad. With my 137, parliament is not going to sit. Maybe let me explain. The Constitution uses the word the majority of members present and voting.
Okay.
Not majority of members as you contemplate them in your head. When business is conducted, majority of members
who are in the chamber and voting. Okay.
I say in the next few days, tomorrow, there will be a motion. I will force them to vote and let them appreciate what it means when you're there. A majority which has an equal
the last time Jose Wusu had wanted to vote, he was leaving the seat for MP Formina to take it, and that was where the brawl happened.
We are saying that is wrong constitutionally, and that's repugnant to our standing order.
He says he's representing the people of Bekwai.
No. Once he is presiding, that's why I referred you to the Constitution. The Speaker shall have no original nor custom vote. In plain words, in the 1992 Constitution, he's not the first deputy speaker of the Parliament of Ghana. I wish you had played the voice of Freddie Blay when they met in Nkoko, because he's been a deputy speaker. He understands the dynamics and the workings of Parliament reasonably well. I respect some of the views he shared. Yesterday, the speaker shared with me some comments which were made by the Minister for National Security, the Honorable Kandapa, at the opening of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association meeting. And in the speaker's words, it was refreshing and positive and encouraging to hear Honorable Kandapa.
What did he say?
I'm yet to go into the full text,
detail,
but I'm not sure it reflected that we are a government in power, we have a mandate. What mandate? You have a presidential mandate, yes. Even the parliamentary mandate, we are fraudulently denied that. That is why we are contesting Techma. So you see, the Ghanaian people deliberately voted for a hung parliament or a balanced parliament. You can use your words to say that you are a majority, but you simply don't have an absolute majority. And I'm saying that in every civilized democracy, where the ethos and values of parliamentary democratic principles have so been well practiced, no speaker or a deputy speaker exercises an original or custom vote whilst presiding.
Do you think?
And therefore, it was that wrong that we sought to prevent, which resulted in the brawl for which we have been so condemned by the Ghanaian people, and to which we have resolved to behave well, appreciating that the Ghanaian people will know the context in which we...
The first deputy speaker also said that they cannot trust the speaker if they want to conduct government's business and to push government's agenda. Do you see this as an attack on the speaker?
And I think, first of all, my advice is, do you insult your mother and keep your wife? Insult your mother and want to keep your wife, do you? That's my advice to the MPP. You don't insult your mother and keep your wife.
Who is the mother? Who is the wife?
The needless vilification.
No, I want to understand. Sorry. Who is the mother? Who is the wife?
I say I've given my advice. That's a Dagomba.
No, you're a Dagomba man. I'm not. So I want to learn.
Don't insult your mother.
Okay.
And keep your wife.
Who is the mother and the wife in this context?
You when you marry, you are not looking that your wife will become a mother. You know, the vilification, the insults, the abuses, even to the absurdity of sharing Honorable Bagben's medical record because he disagrees with you, untenable. Untenable. This is not the first time that persons have traveled abroad for purposes of medical care or medical attention. What was the disagreement? And the majority must bow their head in shame.
Why?
Where in Ghana's history has a majority party walked out on its own budget and want to shift the blame to Bagben? Stay in, let's vote. They just didn't walk out. They avoided what I told you. That's why I said read Article 104 well. I saw them saying that they want to educate Haruna Iddrisu and NDC on it. On Thursday before the budget, related to the speaker, that I will invoke Article 104. It says that where the vote is a parity, you lose. So they just didn't walk out. They lost the vote and walked out in shame.
But they called for a division.
No,
right?
but that division would have reflected 137, 137. If you want the flight details, Adjoa Safo is member of parliament.
That's
is
right.
it?
That's right.
She arrived on a private jet. I have the details on my phone. I can share with you.
You got the manifest.
Don't worry, at 11 p.m. So she certainly couldn't have been part of a parliament which adjourned before 8 p.m. Impossible. So where were you going to get 138 to win the vote? And then you insult us back with this attitude. You just didn't have the numbers. You were 137, we were 137. So you would have lost the vote in accordance with Article 104 of the Constitution. So to avoid that shame, you walk out and tell the Ghanaian people that you walk out because of General Sidin Ketia. And you can't even engage. This is what happened. I say, if you want, I'll show the Ghanaian people the flight which brought Honorable Adjoa Safo. And I'll show the Ghanaian people the time that particular flight arrived in Ghana could not have been at a position or a situation where probably she could have been able to take part in the vote.
Which flight was that? Which plane was that?
Don't worry, on that particular day. Now on E levy, get the context, got the context right.
Okay.
On E levy, we simply are not saying that fiscal consolidation is not important. As I said, I got a brilliant critique of my position when I made some suggestions relative to e-levy. But simply, government must engage the stakeholders. There must be a cap. And I hope that you give me time to be able to explain this. When you hear Ken Ofori-Atta, the Minister of Finance, at his last press conference, I'm quoting him, this is what he said, that the telecos have agreed to reduce their share by 0.25%.
Right.
It is worth interrogating by you, the media, persons in the telecom industry, stakeholders in the industry, and other related matters. Now, first of all,
you don't believe that the telcos have had a gentleman's agreement with the finance minister?
This one, I'm pleading with you to give me time. I want to share. I've been Minister for Communication, so don't take my technical expertise for granted.
I'm not. I'm not. I want to listen to you.
It's only in Ghana I may not be respected. When you go to Geneva, I have high standing when it comes to the sector. I just share with you. The minister says they have agreed to reduce 0.25% of their charges, the telecos, to expose his contradiction, which is the heart of the deception, is that one, the telecos were not universally and uniformly charging 1%. Show me where Vodafone charged. It was MTN. Two, MTN was only charging back to back, cash in, cash out, electronic money transaction in your wallet. They had a cap and imposed a charge on the cap. So if you deceptively tell Ghanaian people that they have agreed to reduce their charges by 0.25%, I asked Ken Ofurata and President Nana Akufo-Addo, 0.25% of what? Because they never were charging on transactions. They never had even a uniform levy within the telecom sector that every telco entity took this particular percentage. All of them had their way of dealing with it. But with MTN having a back-to-back 1%, 0.4 to 0.6% sometimes, and then if you were withdrawing cash out, they will impose a particular burden on you.
That's right.
So let me use this example. We must make a clear distinction between fees and transactions. There was a cap on fees and there was a charge on fees. You can't equate that to a 1.75%, which has not happened anywhere in the world. Cameroon is 0.5%, now 0.2%. Other countries in East Africa, including Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, is hovering around that. On fees, I've heard an MPP member of parliament say again that President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC charged 17.5%. I asked him to 17.5% VAT on what? On what? This is a plane which brought Ajua Safo.
Okay, you ought to hold it steady for me.
Give it to you.
Okay, you have to share with me so that, okay, you hold it, and so that this camera can pick it.
We'll give it a time. So suddenly they just ran away from.
So Percy, you would have to capture this for me. So this is the Honourable Minority Leader saying that. Oh, sorry. You have to
my
open
phone
the phone.
Is a complicated one.
Sorry, forgive me. It's a big man's phone, so it's a big man's phone. Usually that.
So
you may have to hold it then, so that Ima can capture it for us. Hold it steady and show it to the camera.
You stay out of trouble.
No, I'm not staying out of trouble because Percy is not ready. That's why I'm asking for Ima to hold it for you. Percy, you are ready. Okay, so let me have it then.
She came in this private jet around 11 p.m. that day. So she couldn't have been part of that parliament.
Okay, do we have it now? Okay, so this is it. This is what the Honourable Haruna Iddrisu says. And unfortunately, for those of you on 3FM 92.7, you can't get
on this private jet.
So you say she arrived at 11 p.m.
Yes, around that time.
Okay.
But certainly not before Parliament adjourned.
Right.
So she couldn't have participated in the proceedings of Parliament.
So it's HB Joe. That's the plane.
Yes.
This is what the Minority Leader says.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're 137. So within the meaning of Article 104, it was a defeat. So you don't come with the posture that I have the numbers. What numbers? It is not numbers sitting outside. It's numbers present and voting.
I've had some members
look, I say we will leave to the challenge of Joe Osei-Owusu as a minority.
This week.
Every other time. That they will work with their numbers, ignore Mr. Speaker Bagwin, ignore minority, ignore 137. You don't need them to do anywhere. Significantly, from research that has been done by the African Parliamentary Center, and I should commend the leadership, Dr. Rashid Draman and co. We have always built consensus. We have.
So what is happening this time around?
There's been times that even government depended on the minority leader to get bills passed. Even as chairman, as minority leader, we worked with him, we engaged him. When I was Minister for Communication, a lot of the bills, I'll work with him. So I'm surprised to hear them say that we cannot rely on Bagbin. What has Bagbin done wrong? Indeed, if Bagbin wanted to hurt them, he should have overruled Osei Owusu. That all the rulings Osei Owusu gave, what capacity did he have to give the ruling? He says, I'm not speaker, I'm MP for Bekwai. So what rulings have he done? So let's set aside the ruling. You want me to demand that I'm capable of doing that today? You say you are not speaker, you are just ordinary MP. Yet you make ruling that you expect us to respect.
You are going to cause trouble.
And I say, which rulings?
You are going to cause trouble then.
Then let's come to, I don't want to digress from e-levy. I want to give you this example.
You have more to say on e-levy.
No. You need to just tolerate me.
I will tolerate you because it's been difficult trying to get you and your opposite number.
So on e-levy, I'm going to use you as an example. Assuming you have a brother who was abroad, or your auntie or mother was abroad, and he decides to send you $200. Initially, they wanted to tax remittances until we said this is wrong. They are now seeking to run away from it. They want to tax bank-to-bank charges. I've transferred money from corporate entity water company A to cap company B. You want to put tax on it. That's why I say it's a lazy tax on money. It has not happened anywhere in the world. Show me best practice where this tax.
Somebody says you are only doing this because your grassroots are putting pressure on you, and that you could have passed it anyway. Because if you look at the entirety of the 2022 budget, you have passed about 98 billion.
Can I make
already.
A point? So I gave you the example of $200. What does it work up to? Bawuia's exchange, that Dr. Bawuia exchange rate at 6 cities, not 4 cities. He inherited 4.2 exchange rate. Now it's 6. So $200 will give you 1,200
and something, right? Yeah.
So use yourself as example. You get 1,200. Whether it's cash in or cash out, you have electronic money. You give it. You 1,002. You give 1,000 to him. He gives 800 to her. She gives 600 to her. She gives 400 to him. He gives 200 to him. You have to pay money on all this money.
On all the charges, the transactions.
Yes, I'm not saying it. That is what they are seeking to do, and say that we shouldn't call it double taxation. I'm buying a mobile phone. You have charged me that the mobile phone is 5,000 Ghana. I have chosen that I'll pay for it. And I'm already paying VAT on the mobile phone. You are saying I should pay e-levy on it. What kind of economics
So they
is
expanded
that?
the tax
I
net.
say, what kind of economics is that? You don't tax capital. You don't tax savings. A mobile wallet is a savings account. Challenge me. A mobile wallet is a savings account.
That's not debatable.
So why do you want to tax it? So that is why they must engage. And in engaging, they will learn that at least we have to minimize the impact of the service on the growth of our digital economy. We've just started. What happens to merchants? What happens to fintech institutions which have just secured licenses and paid money from Bank of Ghana to be able to participate in this? The e-levy, does it conform to how they were doing it? I'm using MTN because I know the telecom industry too well. Ghana has created a significant dominant market shareholder of an MTN. So they are dominating your telecom regime, and they will dominate it for some time. You have to accept that reality. MTN didn't say that your 1,200 pay Momo, transfer whether cash in or cash out, 800,000, pay 1.75. No, there was a cap. If you did 1,000, they took 10 cedi. Up to 5,000, they took 10 cedi. So if Ken Ofurata tells Ghanaian people deceptively that telecos have agreed to reduce their charges by 0.25%, of what? Because the regime you are seeking to tax is not what they tax. They were on fees with limitations of capping. to this extent, we'll take something from you. Outside it, we would not. And you see, you don't want.
Why do you call it so?
Armed robbery economy. People will now move back from cash light to cash economy.
Okay.
I'll carry my money from Kintampo now Accra to buy rice instead of sending the money by Momo to buy rice. So armed robbers will meet me on the road and finish me and the money. That's what you are doing. Yet the same government between 2017 and 2021 launched a cash light economy. And we're boasting about it, that they've grown Ghana digital economy. What you are doing will minimize the gains of a digital economy. That is why we stand objected to it. I've heard them try today to publish the NDC parliamentary caucus that I lead. The minority of 137 will simply not support the e-levy in its current form, nature, and character.
Yesterday, your side in Parliament held what do you call the NDC held a town hall meeting, and Elizabeth Ofosojare, one of the MPs, had said that, look, with 138, they can get it passed.
I don't know about 138 on the floor until there's 138 on the floor, but getting it passed does not mean that. And then maybe...
Is the speaker back in town?
No, let me...
Is Speaker Bagbin back in town? I want to get that, and then we can move on to...
It's very, very well. We met with him yesterday, chairing the Parliamentary Service Board.
Right.
You see, to President Akufo-Addo and to the majority leader and the MPP, you don't skewer nor procure cooperation through bullying, intimidation, coercion, or vilification or insult. You don't.
Explain.
I won't explain.
Do you think that some of your members are being persecuted because you are against the e-levy?
I won't comment on persons standing before the law. What I simply will say that President Akufo-Addo must uphold the rule of law in its entirety. Comment on persecution, prosecution, as a student of good governance, I won't go into it. But when you are prosecuting people for procurement offenses, that in your own face, your Minister for Health committed a procurement offense on Sputnik, nothing has happened. President Akufo-Addo, he has lost the wits and guts with which the Ghanaian people impose their trust on him. Come on, reshuffle. He can't do reshuffle.
But that is his prerogative. That's his right. It's his reserve.
Has he done it? Reshuffle. You see, you don't make ministers comfortable. Come on, reshuffle. You see, you must always bring new impetus to government and challenge persons in government to help you achieve your overarching goal. Reshuffle.
He's comfortable with the ministers he has.
Okay.
They are achieving for him what he wants to be achieved.
Yeah,
perhaps, right?
They've achieved a debt of 400 billion for him between 2017 and yesterday. They've achieved a fiscal deficit of between 9 to 14%. They've suspended Fiscal Responsibility Act. They are achieving. Now, let me take you to the Dr. Bawumia economists.
When the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you.
Yes.
Mr. Kwame Pianim says Dr. Baumia's own expose has exposed him.
No. And I will choose just one fundamental.
Which is?
Choose it for me. Depreciation of the cedi. You know, MPP, they can be very interesting with their economists. They inherited the dollar to cedi was 4.2. Today is 6.2. And they don't see anything wrong with it. For them, the fundamentals, use your words, are strong.
Are weak. It's not me, it's Dr. Baumia's words.
No. So fundamentals, exchange rate from 4.2 cedi. You tell an importer that from 4 cedis, for which he got a cedi, he's now buying the same cedi as for $1. 4.2 cedis for $1. He's now using 6.2 cedis to buy the same dollar. And you tell him the fundamentals.
Blame it on COVID. That's what the government says. COVID has devastated everything. It's and then unsettled everybody.
Back to e-levy. They say that without e-levy, this economy will come to a standstill. World Bank, IMF, gave you $1 billion at the Dr. Bawumia exchange, how much is that?
My math is not good, so
6.1 at the exchange.
billion, right?
They give that another $1 billion. Corruption alone, we are told, Auditor General account, you quoted my Honorable MP for Techima, 12 billion is lost. So what is the fuss about 6.9 billion? And when Auditor General says that misappropriation, embezzlement, fraud accounts for 12 billion, for which you do nothing.
The government has admitted that, yes, they have to mobilize funds, but they also have to look at the judicious utilization of funds, which they have come to agree with you.
But initially when we said there should be expenditure prudence, they didn't appreciate it. You either up your revenue or you cut down profligate expenditure. You don't cut down profligate expenditure when you tell Ghanaians that you want their comfort to bath in an aeroplane traveling abroad.
But you approve it from Parliament,
and
somebody will say.
You don't do that. Go and check what we approve. And you are talking about Speaker Bagbe. He's back.
Right.
He is good. So, if you want
issues
to
about security, issues about security, issues about speakers, issues about speakers,
not
security.
Person to person, not transaction. Speaker is entitled to security. And you see what marvels me about the MPP. Let President Nana Akufo-Addo be reminded today that he's not leader of the MPP again. He is President of the Republic of Ghana, head of state, Republic of Ghana. The resources of this country are not at his behest. That you even tell Bagwin that he won't travel on Air Force. Is that somebody's personal property or party property? You, President, you travel on a presidential jet because you are president. Bagwin is Speaker of Parliament, recognized under Article 93 through 94, 95, in particular of the 1992 Constitution, as a key officer of state of the Republic of Ghana. Nobody should say anywhere that he's doing him a favor of he benefiting from those resources to which you have use. What entitles Nana Akufo-Addo as president to anything entitles the speaker to the same thing by the laws of Ghana and by the Constitution of Ghana. I'm president, I'm speaker, I'm chief justice. Constitution. Go to Article 144, you find the chief justice there. Go to 95, you find the speaker there. Go to 57 and 58, you find the president there. Go to Article 71. It's not for nothing that Article 71 says that president, speaker, MPs. I heard somebody use it. Maybe today you should come and learn a little law. You just them generis. That's when you just them generis. President, order of hierarchy.
Right.
So you just them generis. Bagbin only fits in to that constitutional
as number 3.
You just them, it can be Sombo 3, it can be Sombo 5. What I know is that he is deserving of it. Now,
I don't see the parliamentary correspondent. Sorry about that. Says that the e-levy is not on the order paper this morning. Will it show? Will it be surprised if you see it today?
We will not accept a surprise on e-levy. We want it to be programmed on a day that we are available. I'm encouraging government to engage further through a thorough consultative process, listening to the telcos. They don't charge on transactions. They don't charge on person to person. They charge on wallets because we are building an economic EMI, economic money, electronic money, EMI. That's why they have cash in, cash out. So even those who cash out, they pay higher because cash in, you are encouraging the growth of the digital economy and the electronic money space. We engage government. They were not ready to engage. I hope that I can end with this. I know you want to end because you have to go to Parliament. In one of the engagements, when I made some suggestion, one of them said in Chi, maybe I know James in Chi. I said, oh, minority leader, I was so hot to do. And I told him, and the brafome.
And then the night was through.
And it ended there. I say I've ended it there. I just want you to appreciate that somewhere along the line there was engagement. And I'm saying that government must engage. This attitude of I have a mandate, I can rule, I can govern, not in the eighth parliament.
You mentioned
they need us, even if they want to call us a necessary evil. They need us.
I see.
They need our cooperation. They need to build.
Are your doors opened?
They must. Why not? Why not? Why not? You cannot be in parliament, be in leadership of parliament, and say you are closing your doors. What sense does it make? No. At every time, you see, you are making a mistake. I'm serving the people of Ghana, and I'm serving Ghana, and I have a sacred duty to protect the Constitution of Ghana, to preserve and protect the standing orders of Ghana, and to use it to serve the Ghanaian better.
I see.
I have a duty.
You mentioned earlier about the Sputnik V bipartisan
Parliament will take a vote on it, and we will we'll move a motion of censorship within the meaning of what the Constitution allows us to do with our numbers. And I hope that we're getting to the tail end. I'm showing presence in Parliament.
We're getting to the tail end.
As a media practitioner, I take interest today in pensions. I'm getting very disturbing reports.
What reports are you getting?
That Ghanaians who have retired under Act 766, the second tier pension, are receiving less than they would have earned if they were on their original pension status.
That's information you are getting.
It's information I have, accurate. And therefore, Act 766, because we want to please Ghana Armed Forces, Ghana Police Service, Ghana Immigration Service. Sometimes we don't even remember Ghana Prison Service. I'll add them. And the Ghana Police Service, we need to review it. And I believe that
we want to touch Cap 30. Is that what you're saying?
Responsible. You know, if you check, in 2015, I had to come to Parliament as Minister responsible for pensions to amend the Pensions Act to give Senate some space of 5 years to prepare for the payment of the lump sum and other matters. I'm worried about it because how much were you already earning that you are now earning less in pension? You are only retiring them to death and not retiring them.
The Senate boss says, well, we must look at the review of the pension age, maybe push it up a bit to 65.
He's provoked a debate. I think we should look at it. But just as
there are too many young people who are unemployed.
Absolutely,
they will not be happy about 65-year-olds in employment when they young people cannot find jobs.
You must look at your longevity as a country, the age. In Ghana today, you people enjoy a contract. Somebody is supposed to go on retirement. You say it should be on contract. We have to discourage that practice within the public service of Ghana. But arguably and understandably, they are very dedicated, loyal public servants whose expertise and services you may need and require sometimes. But it should be used rarely and sparingly.
Leader, thank you very much for coming. A quick one, though. I know that in the last session, for example, Honorable Sam George, Suhini, Mutala, and a couple of others, plus Reverend John and Tim Fojo, they led the LGBTQIA plus debate. They're asking for a law for proper family values and all of that. Will we see it again in Parliament? Will we see your side, the strong voices that you had again for it?
The promotion and acceptance of LGBTQ plus is just culturally and socially responsible for the Ghana that I know, which will uphold to its cultural and time-tested values. You don't want a situation tomorrow when you are leaving TV3. You are free to walk to a lady's bathroom and say you are transgender. And the lady walks to your bathroom and say transgender. So we leave it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Haruna Iddrisu is the minority leader in Parliament, and also he is the member of Parliament for the Tamale South constituency. He's been magnanimous enough to share more than 1 hour of his time for us. Tilapia has something special for you. Fix your eyes on the screens and check it out.
What's tilapia?
Tilapia is our cartoonist here.
You don't have Banku.
That's our cartoonist there. So this looks like what you and Osaichi Mensabo. So the WWE sports is up next, by the way, and that's Muntaka Spy on the side. I don't see anybody behind Osaichi Mensabo. So anyway,
he would have, and maybe he would have majority of 138. He would have. As an independent, read Article 97 well. And sometimes the media, I'm just going to encourage you, when you're on the floor of Parliament, we have what we call the agent provocateur.
Okay.
Always look at it. The day budget was read, when we all agreed that there should be no booing, no shouting, watch where it started. Even the day of the brawl, watch the movement where a certain leader had to go and block an end of Parliament because there was movement. Watch it. So, you see, in Parliament, Speaker and leaders, we must be trusting of each other in order to confide in each other for the good of the state, not our political parties. At that level, I mean, for the Ghanaian people, good. When Osaichi Mensah says that e-levy have been passed, can you imagine what Haruna Iddrisu will be going through today if there was no appropriation and you were not paid? Public sector worker, what would have happened? So we have this understanding, so we know what we are doing. So we say, get appropriation passed. We disagree with you on e-levy. We will support you. And you say it has been passed already. Then don't walk back to Parliament today with e-levy.
See, we'll keep our eyes and ears in Parliament, but thank you very much indeed, Leader, for coming. Grateful. We look forward to some more engagements.
My pleasure. And matter of pensions was reported to me by a respected person who worked with me when I was Minister for Labour in the health sector. I've asked him to give me a comprehensive paper on the subject. But I just think that the media must show interest in it because post-work, post-retirement security is important for many. That's when health begin to deteriorate and persons need support. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. Grateful that you could join us this morning. And let's say a very, very quick happy birthday to a few persons who are celebrating their birthday today. We'll take a break and sports will come up. Happy birthday to Ni Naku Tete Aidan Noi of One International School of Ahafo, grade 7. It's your birthday today from your mom and everybody else. Also to my good brother Edem Mensah Chotome. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. And one more to you, Phyllis Kosa of Eziama Nursing and Midwifery School. And also, Brenda Dugan also sent this one. It says, happy birthday to W01 Eric Tam Saki of Michelle Camp. This is from Patience.